ultimately, all you want in your marketing is to become the dominant force within a market, right? So I'm going to illustrate to you one of the ways to start that process and how to grow it forward, because the landscape has changed yet again in the world of marketing, and we've got to pivot and change our approach to get the results that we need to grow our business. So hang tight, here we go. All right, so no matter what, you always need to start with who's your customer, because if you're marketing to the wrong person, you're not going to get anywhere anyway. So for most home services, you got to remember it's the woman of the house who tends to make those decisions. Yes, it varies a little bit throughout the regions of the US and Canada and North America and all that, but for most of you, this is going to be your primary demographic if you're going after anything that touches the home. So what you want to think about is who has the money to pay the services that you want to offer in order to make the money and grow the business that you want. And for most of you, that's going to be the stay-at-home mother. So we'll call her Sally. So Sally is a soccer mom. Sally is doing a billion things trying to keep the home and the kids in line, and she may even have a job on top of all of that. She's got a lot going on. Luckily, when she finds problems with plumbing, she doesn't have the skills nor want to get the skills to fix it herself, so she needs to call someone. The trick is, how do you get her to call you? Yeah, you can run search ads. Yeah, you can run Yelp or lead aggregators. Yeah, you can run LSA. Yeah, you can do all these things. But that's only for the person who doesn't know who to call in the first place. And you've got a job with your marketing. It's not just to connect you with the person who needs a plumber. It's to convince the world that you are the plumber. You want to be the one that is chosen out of everyone else before they even need a plumber at all. You don't want them going and exploring. You don't want them looking for a plumber out there, out yonder. So Sally here is your target demographic, and everything you do needs to project your business into her world as she sees it, not as you see it. And then you have your service area. Your service area is your entire places that you're willing to go in order to do the work that you need to do to get the money that you need in order to grow to the business that you want, to get the lifestyle that you want. That's the whole loop, right? But just focus on your service area. And you really should sit down with a map and line it out. Like draw a circle around, it's going to be a wonky circle. Draw a circle around the places that you would like to serve and draw a line around it. Some of you are spending hours inside of a truck, and that is horrible. Think about how many jobs you could do if you could stack them closer together. Little tidbit here, just because you can reach a spot doesn't mean you have to serve a spot, okay? Keep that in mind as well. So then we know your target service area, we know your target demographic, and now you have to figure out how many Sallys are inside of your market. That is one of the biggest things to do. And there's a lot of tools to do this. One of the easiest is Facebook ads. Just go in, put all your targeting efforts in, target down to Sally's, essentially, and you'll get an idea of how many are in that bubble. So in our example here, we've got Greenville, South Carolina, which it's going to change, but roughly you're looking at 90,000 people, and we often see that about 30% of a population is an addressable market. It is the person you want to go after. So if you're looking at 90,000 and you're going for 30% of the market, you're looking at 30,000 Sallys. So put your Sallys in a bucket just like this. And congratulations, now you have your Sallys. You know who you need to market to. But the problem is, how do you get noticed? Not by one, not by two, but by all of them. And the only way to do that is to use mass communication, which is the truest, biggest, most effective form of marketing there is. So how do you go about influencing 30,000 Sallys at one time? Well, you go where she's paying attention. Where is she spending her time? And this is, of course, you got your digital platforms. So you got Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Google Display, because that's going to go all over the internet. But so you can figure it out. Like, she's got a lot of time on her phone, but there's other ways to reach her as well. There is yoga studios. There are sports games like kids' baseball games that she has to take her kids to. There are PTA meetings. There are meetups of mothers who are just waiting for school to get out. Like, there's all sorts of things. Facebook neighborhood groups. Those are all places where they tend to congregate. And that's what you want to be looking for, is your way to get inside of those bubbles, of those communities. And we're going to talk about how to do it with ads, because advertising is one of the most effective ways of doing it and the most stable ways of doing it, because when you pay for ads, there's a transaction that happens. You're saying, I want those eyeballs, and the platform is saying, we'll give you those eyeballs. It's that easy. It's just a matter of how much, how often, and what effect it has. But for a lot of you, you're going to be looking for it on Google search, on PPC, LSA, Yelp, Thumbtack, Nextdoor, all these things, okay? I don't want you to show up only when she needs a plumber. Can you do that? Yes. Is it bad? No. It all comes down to the price per person, right? But if that's the only thing you are doing, you are only speaking one-to-one. For every dollar you spend, you're getting a fraction of the market. I need you to speak en masse at scale, and that is a different equation. And so the moral of the story for this is to show up when she doesn't need you, so she shows up when she does need you, right? You want to be the attractant in the relationship between you and your customers. You don't want to wait for them to be in frazzled emergency mode, wondering who to call, and then you get price shoppers all the time. But here's the deal. You're going to spend money to get in front of her when she doesn't need you. A lot of you are doing it like quick fire. You're like, here I am, see you later. Oh, here I am again, see you later. You're not consistent. You have to be consistent. You have to hit them multiple times with the same message, with different messages, with fun messaging, with deals, with tips and education. There's a lot of ways you can skin the advertising cat. What I want you to do, though, more than anything else, is be consistent. You can run the same ad forever if you want, but be consistent. And that means rather than dumping all of your money into one special month or one special week, you should spread it out over the course of a month. We like to look at advertising in monthly buckets because it's easier for us to manage the budgets, to be honest. But it's also a really good way to ensure that you are showing up consistently for your audience. So you need to show up with a lot of different creatives over time. Once a month, switch out your creatives. Put something new out there. So Sally goes, oh, look, there's something new out there. How many times have you been on a platform and you see the same ad over and over and over again? You go, oh God, this is annoying. That's what you want to avoid, unless you're playing into that sensibility with an ad that is like, hi, this ad will never change, and I'm going to keep running it until the dead of time. So you could do that as well if you would like. But realistically, you need to show up often. You need to show up differently for most of you. Because every time that you change your creative, you're reinvigorating the interest. They have to relearn about you. They have to get deeper about you again. And that makes a stronger impression in the headspace of Sally. So that way, when she wakes up and she needs a plumber, guess who she's going to call? Hopefully it's you. That's what all of this is for. So of course, you get to a point where you're like, well, all right, I got my bucket of Sally's, but what's the price tag of that bucket of Sally's? I want you to show up often, right? Well, you got 30,000 people. For some of you, you're not going to be able to afford the frequency that you need, which should be about every other day if you're brand new, the frequency that you need to show up for 30,000 of them. You've got to change the way that you're looking at your market, which means your budget might dictate that, no, you can't go to all 30,000. You can't cover your entire service area. So pick your hot spots. Go for where you know that people have money, that they have need. That's where you want to put your dollars. And so that might be a neighborhood. It might be 2 neighborhoods. It might be 3, but avoid the areas that don't need you at all. Like, why even go there? So narrow it down until your budget can support your advertising initiatives. So if you want a good baseline of what this can cost, here's kind of a general idea. So for the most part, it costs $8 for a CPM. A CPM is 1,000 views of something. This is for a photo post on Facebook or Instagram or even like Google Display. If you have $1,000, you can buy 120,000 impressions. And if you want to hit somebody every other day, that's a frequency of roughly 15. And for $1,000, you can reach 8,333 people. Now you tell me how many times your $60 click that doesn't result in anything gets you in front of thousands of people? None. It's a one-to-one market. And if you start using mass communication, you won't be stuck with a budget that is so stinking expensive for customer acquisition. But there is a caveat, and I'll get to that. So when it comes to that budget breakdown, don't advertise beyond your means. Just find your target zones. You know there's going to be good Sally's here and good Sally's here, and maybe iffy Sally's down here. Maybe leave that one for later when you've got more resources. Because you need to show up enough times to have influence inside of that market. It's what I want you to do. And a good rule to live by is consistency is more important than coverage when you're trying to build influence. And the way I liken this game is like risk. You're going to influence a territory that will become yours. Then you extract the resources out of that territory, and you know what you do with them? You use them to buy up another territory. And over time, you are growing your company, you're growing your margins, you're growing your sphere of influence. And then your territory starts to inch out the bigger guys in the market who have millions of dollars to spend. You don't got that. So we're going to start with the smallest little zone and grow you consistently up. All right, there's a caveat that I mentioned before, and we need to address it. Because a lot of you, the reason why your advertising is going in fits and starts is because you're impatient. Perfectly, like, just to be frank. Advertising is trying to get somebody to do something different, to do something they haven't done before. You can't do that with a shot in the dark, just like one little impression. No, you have to push and push and push against the preconceived notions that they have in their head. And that means consistency, number one, but it also means that slowly, these 30,000 Sallys that you're marketing to, a couple of them are going to start having influence. A few more. And different people take more time to be influenced than others. That's just human nature. But on an average, what we like to see is somebody giving 3 to 6 months of a really good try at a marketing initiative before declaring it dead. And so your ramp will grow. It will take time for you to get up through about 3 months of consistency. But what happens over time is you are gaining traction. It's not like you don't get calls out of this. It's just you have to reach a new plateau. You have to rise up the awareness over time, and then you hit maintenance. You can absolutely oversaturate, but realistically, you're going to reach a good zone of maintenance where you can go, all right, they know about me. I just need to stay there. But let's talk about what happens when you don't stay there. You see, with any sort of lead generation platform, the minute that you turn off your ads, you disappear. You're gone. That could be LSA, it could be Yelp, it could be Google Ads, PPC, whatever. But here's the cool thing about when you put 3 to 6 months to a year to 2 years to 3 years worth of advertising into a market, you aren't building on a digital platform because you don't care about it. What you care about is what you're building in here. And that doesn't go away overnight, but it does decay. And it decays faster than it takes to build it up. So what you have to do is build it up. And you got a business, things are going to happen, right? So you might have to shrink back your marketing a little bit. So you end up having to drop a couple zones out of it. Oh, well, you can get back there, but make sure that you don't go dark. And what'll happen is you'll slowly start to decay in awareness, and then you'll have to build back up, which will take time again. But that's the way people work. That's just people. You can't ignore the laws of humanity when you're marketing. And so this is how you build true influence into a community. So now let's compare what kind of effect you're going to have, because I keep running into people who are using SEO, PPC, all sorts of lead gen efforts, and they're all getting more expensive because the competition is up. And rather than carving some of the money they're making out of these, like these are barely holding on for some folks, right? But they're ignoring the thousands of other people who don't need a plumber that day. So take a look here. For every dollar that you spend inside of a brand awareness campaign, you know what you're going to get? you're going to get 125 Sallys. But what do you get when you have a $60 click and you're trying to get that one who needs you? Well, you're going to get like 0.016 Sallys. You get like one eyeball. I hate to bust your bubble, but we've got a lot of other sensory things that you can take advantage of. So you can see the scale problem. You can't grow a business if you don't have scale. And lead generation is not scale. It has a purpose. It has a place in your marketing stack, but it cannot be the only thing that you're doing. And I have found tons of companies who are ignoring the constant communication for the lead of the day. And then when the lead of the day stops coming through or it starts getting more expensive because everybody else is going to it, there's this entire market of untapped potential that nobody has been influencing, but you could. That's where the opportunity lies. So keep in mind, influence, true influence, and pushing and moving a community of people doesn't happen one or two at a time. If your lead gen is putting you in front of 100 people a day, just imagine what, 8,000 a day could do for you. It's doable, but it does take time, and you do have to let it saturate, and you do have to let it cook. That's how this kind of marketing works. But when you really dial this back and you really think about it, what is this? This is real marketing. This is influence. This is not lead gen. This is hearkening back to the good old days, some would say, of print, radio, and television. This is showing up before people ever need you so you can be positioned as the one they want to call. Because now they have a list up here in their head and you're going to be on the top. And that makes you the chosen plumber. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So if you liked this little presentation, if you liked what I had to say, I'd love to work with you. But we should probably sit down and just talk shop a little bit about what you got going on. So my team and I, we do consultations with plumbers in order to help them find a path for their marketing. If you go to my website, you can schedule a consult. It'll be with me or someone on my team, and we'd be happy to talk shop because it's one of my favorite things to do. I talk a ton about marketing. So I'd like to talk at you. Thanks.